So recently, I've been playing a lot of WWE 13's Attitude Era mode, and I was noticing how full of attention to detail the mode was. I'd say one of the best showcases for attention to detail in a WWE game ever, maybe. In fact, I found so many cool details that I've decided to make this entire episode about WWE 13's Attitude Era mode. So before I get into this video, make sure you're subbed with all notifications turned on so you don't miss any episodes in this series. And also, if there's any attention to detail from any WWE games that I should include in future episodes, then please do let me know in the comments. So to kick this video off, we got to start with Stone Cold, of course. So in the mode, you recreate not only one but two matches against Dude Love, and in the first match there will be a moment where one of the goals of the match is to strike Dude Love with a chair when outside of the ring. If you did that, then you'll see this scene. And then after that scene happens, you'll see the match end like this, with Mr. McMahon still feeling the effects of that chair shot.
Stone Cold Steve Austin has leveled everybody in the match. The referee is down. Dude Love is down. The toughest SOB in the WWE is still WWE champ. I cannot believe that he hit Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWE, with that chair. This may cost Austin big.
Now, if you didn't hit Dude Love with the chair and let the timer expire, then you'll actually get an alternative version of the match ending scene with Mr. McMahon not being knocked out, and with him being visibly angry that Stone Cold is still the champion.
The referee is down. Dude Love is down. Mr. McMahon cannot believe his eyes. The toughest SOB in the WWE is still WWE champion. Mr. McMahon is in shock. How did Stone Cold do it? I'll tell you what, this may cost Austin big.
And in the second match, which takes place a month later, Vince McMahon will now be the special guest referee. And there is a few cool details to point out in this match. If you go for a weapon under the ring, you'll see this secret scene of Vince stopping Stone Cold and then throwing him back into the ring. If you try to go for the pin or submission, Vince will not count the pin or acknowledge the submission, which is another small but cool detail. And lastly, when Vince gets knocked out in the match, if you let the timer expire, Vince won't actually wake up. Another referee will enter the match to make the call, which does make sense as Vince will never make the call for Stone Cold to win the match. Moving on to the classic Kane and Undertaker matches, there's a match that takes place on Raw with Vince and Stone Cold on commentary. You'll actually hear them talk too. What you might have missed is these additional lines from them both if you keep taking damage during the match as Kane.
Oh, hell yeah! Now this is what I call an ass whooping. There you go. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
We've seen a number of battles with these two, and each and every time, in my view, it was Kane who was superior.
Yeah, but each and every time, it was Undertaker who was the victor.
I believe you lit a fire under Undertaker's ass. I think he is what he used to be. He is the Phenom, and I ain't kissing his ass because I ain't about that. I respect the man because I think he's a hell of a competitor, and I'd like to face him. On the other hand, I'd just as soon whip Kane's ass.
Yeah, and you know what?
What?
As far as I'm concerned, maybe it is The Undertaker. If The Undertaker can show the world tonight that he is worthy of being the #1 contender, you know what? I really don't care.
Well, I know you don't, you greedy bastard.
I'd like to see The Undertaker take that title from you and beat you from an inch of your life.
You ain't worthy of kissing my ass.
Good God, can we get back to the match?
Go right ahead, dumbass. Who's stopping you? Well, Kane's gonna be resting in peace.
Come on, Kane. You shook Mr. McMahon's hand.
Ah, shut up, you little cheerleader.
Kane's stronger than The Undertaker. Kane has the power.
He ain't got the smarts of The Undertaker. Hell, Undertaker's been around a long damn time.
Well, I'll grant you that. Maybe too long. Tonight we find out.
Let me tell you something. You might be around a little too long if you don't shut up. You're starting to piss me off.
Don't tell me to shut up. I own that microphone you're talking into. Don't tell me to shut up.
Continuing on with Raw matches, during the Hell in a Cell match between Kane and Mankind against Stone Cold and The Undertaker, who does fail to appear for the match at the start, will eventually appear in the ring to attack Paul Bearer. The goal is for you to knock out Paul Bearer before the time expires, but whilst beating him up as quickly as possible, you might have missed this cool detail. If you go outside, you'll see both Kane and Mankind trying to break through the cell door to get in there and help Paul Bearer. And if you also let the timer expire, you'll see them both breaking the cell door and entering the Hell in a Cell. I also like the detail that Kane was the one to rip the door from the hinges again, like he did in the first Hell in a Cell match. I mean, Mankind did help, I guess. If you saw episode 1 of Attention to Detail in WWE Games, you would have seen me mention the orange colour ladders during a match between Mankind and The Rock, which was accurate for that match. There's also another match with different colour ladders. When you play The Rock vs Triple H ladder match at SummerSlam 98, you'll see the yellow ladders that were actually used for this match. Speaking of The Rock, when you face Mark Henry on an episode of Raw in late 1998, you'll be seen pulling Mr. McMahon out of the crowd and giving him a rock bottom after the match. But what you might have missed is that Mr. McMahon is sitting in the wheelchair the whole entire time in the crowd. You just have to go outside the ring, go to the bottom left of the screen, and you'll see him watching there. WWE 13's Attitude Era mode also includes 2 screw jobs, the famous real one with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels at Survivor Series 1997, and the storyline one with The Rock and Mankind at Survivor Series 1998. Now, both end with the sharpshooter submission move being called as a submission when both Bret Hart and Mankind didn't tap out to the move. But did you know that you can also win these matches with pins? If you do this, then you'll see the ref count the pin as fast as possible to continue the screw job part of the matches.
He's got his shoulders planted to the mat. It's all over. He's going for the 3 count. 2, 3.
At the King of the Ring 1998 pay-per-view, there's a First Blood match between Stone Cold and Kane. This match is included in the Attitude Era mode, but what happens if you turn the blood off in the game? Well, the match will actually turn into a last man standing match, and we'll have different commentary lines and an alternative cutscene. Here's a look at a comparison between the two.
And here we go. Let's get it on. The match can only end when one man can no longer make it to his feet by the count of 10. Now that means no disqualifications and no pinfalls.
And these guys are going to try to knock each other out right away here.
Stone Cold has a badly infected elbow. He was laid up in a hospital for 3 days last week with staph infection in that arm. The man had over 100-degree fever for a couple of days. And here we go. Let's get it on here. The match can only end when one man draws first blood on his opponent. That means no disqualifications and no pinfalls.
Yeah, that's right. These guys are going to try to bust each other open right away here.
Austin has a badly infected elbow. He was laid up in a hospital for 3 days last week with staph infection in that arm. He had over a 100-degree fever for a couple of days. Nothing but misery for the competitors in this matchup.
And you know, one thing I just noticed is that leather mask on Kane will offer a lot of protection. It's like trying to knock somebody out that's wearing a helmet.
At the very least, that's a huge disadvantage for Stone Cold. Nothing but misery for the competitors in this matchup.
You know, one thing I just noticed is that there's almost no exposed skin on Kane. Just that right arm. Austin, on the other hand, is completely exposed, and he can bleed. We've seen that before.
You know, at the very least, that leather mask on Kane will offer a lot of protection.
That's right. That's a huge disadvantage for Stone Cold.
Oh, my God. Here comes The Undertaker.
Oh, what a tumble. Austin and Mankind don't know Undertaker's behind them.
Undertaker's with the steps. Oh, my God. Mankind over the barricade. Undertaker has Kane. Choke slam. A choke slam on the steel steps.
Oh, my gosh. Undertaker's destroyed everybody.
Austin's not moving. Kane is not moving. And the referee's making the count.
Well, nobody's going to get up from that. Did you see what just happened?
Hell yeah, I saw what happened. In one night, Undertaker damn near ended Mick Foley's career. And now, The Undertaker may have just done the same to Stone Cold and the dead man's brother, Kane.
WWE Champion, Kane.
Kane did it!
Come on, The Undertaker did it, and Kane reaped the reward.
Well, it doesn't matter, JR. Kane won!
And man, how tipped off is Stone Cold. Oh, brother, there's going to be hell to pay tomorrow on Raw, let me tell you. My God, here comes The Undertaker. And Undertaker's got a chair. Mankind's the target. Oh! Undertaker's chair just nailed Austin. Undertaker knocks Mankind outside. Kane's knocked outside. Oh, God, Austin is busted open. He is busted wide open. And The Undertaker's rolling the referee back in the ring. What the hell?
speaking of alternative cutscenes, there's also one if you pin or escape the cage in the match between Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon. If you do this, you'll miss the debut of the Big Show coming through the ring and throwing Stone Cold through the cage. So to still have the Big Show debut at the event, he'll actually show up after the match to chokeslam Stone Cold to end the show. To end the video, I want to go through some smaller quick details that deserve a mention. Like in the Hell in a Cell match between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, you can leave the Hell in a Cell through the cage door after Kane rips it off the hinges. In the match between Road Dogg and the Big Boss Man for the Hardcore title, you'll see Big Boss Man with his nightstick, which actually happened in the match. And the nightstick is not actually a weapon that can be used outside of the mold. And lastly, in the Royal Rumble match, when someone new enters the match, you'll see the correct countdown clock graphic for the show, another small but cool detail that only happens in this arena for Royal Rumble matches. So that's the end of today's video. If you did enjoy it, then please make sure to give it a like and also subscribe with all notifications turned on so you don't miss any episodes in this series. If I somehow did miss anything from the WWE 13 Attitude Era mode that I should have included, then please do let me know in the comments, as I would love to find more from the mode that I might have missed and include them in future episodes. If you also have any other details that should be included in future episodes from any WWE game ever, then please do let me know in the comments. Thanks as always for watching everyone, and I'll see you all on the next video.